You proposed legislation.
We did.
And it was not passed.
In Georgia, we don't comply with federal gun laws.
Right.
So if you're under a protective order or you have a domestic violence misdemeanor or a felony, you've lost your rights to firearms. But some counties in Georgia do. I happen to live in one that did.
That complies.
All we asked for was for the state of Georgia to comply with the federal law.
Right. And it's not just Georgia, by the way. This is not to make it seem like, oh yeah, in Georgia, they got a real problem down there. No. Like, this is everywhere. What's the way to build this so that women can feel safer getting out of these relationships?
An officer had me hold up a piece of paper, and he said, okay, that piece of paper is your protective order. And then he took a pen and he jabbed it through the paper while I was holding it, and he said, that's a bullet. You need to arm yourself. So I went and I applied for a concealed carry permit. I own a firearm, and I was trained by a certified gun instructor on how to use it.
Right.
And it actually kind of helped a little bit with my PTSD. Instead of me looking, had the barrel of, the image kind of changed. But, that's not the answer.
We can't solve this problem at the shootout level.
No.
The idea that if your husband had come in with a weapon and shot you 6 times, that you could have outgunned him seems ludicrous.
It's ludicrous.
And if the police, the place you're going to for protection, is telling you, we are deputizing you, that's giving up.
In the prosecutor's office I worked in with the investigators, interacting with police officers every day, there was not a true understanding about domestic violence. They only see it when you get somebody black and blue in the face, and that is not what domestic violence looks like. It looks like a person walking down the street. You don't need to see a person bruised up to be able to agree or to acknowledge that they're in an abusive relationship or that they're in danger. And so officers need intensive domestic violence training as a part of the police academies. They need to understand cultural dynamics, because everybody that they go to for a call isn't going to look like them, isn't going to have the same life experiences and background as them. So they need to understand it so that they respect the person who called enough to take every call seriously. Stop worrying about if the person's going to get back in that relationship. On average, it takes a woman 9 times of trying to leave before they successfully leave a relationship. And I can tell you, I'm above average because it took me a whole lot more than 9, before I successfully left that marriage.
Well, it's even also to look at, if you look at a harm reduction model, so let's say they overstep on civil liberties, which, as we know, the police are not loath to do in other situations. They'll pull people over, they'll do all kinds of things. Worst things worse, if it wasn't really a situation that was warranted, you lose custody of your gun for a month.
Right.
But if not, a life is saved. So how is that even in question?
The argument you get a lot of times is, if you start here with pulling back gun rights, or if you take this guns away in this situation, then you'll just come up with another situation where you can have guns, and then another. And then they argue it's the slippery slope.
It's not a slippery slope. We're already at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
So what's next for the dynamic duo?
We have received a federal grant to build a family justice center. That's where you fill out your police report. Childcare is there, legal advisors, therapists, all in one place.
Janet, like she mentioned earlier, lives in a community that has decided to take guns away from people when they get a protective order against them.
Right.
That didn't just happen on its own. Even though I agree we need the state law, community level changes are a good way to start.
Well, you guys are amazing, and I really appreciate you being here and talking about it. I have a feeling you're going to make some enormous progress.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right.